Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are working on a Stihl FS80r trimmer. So what we're looking at is, I believe this has low compression. As you can see, this is basically rolling over with basically no effort at all. I mean, I could even do it with my pinky if I could balance it. So I compared it to a couple other weed whackers that I have, and to me it felt like it was pretty weak. So today we're going to be removing the carburetor, the coil, the exhaust, the gas tank, the pull start, pulling off the wiring, splitting the motor from the rest of the trimmer, and then going ahead and removing the piston and inspecting it for damage. So follow along and let's get after it. Alright, step one, we're going to be removing the throttle cable. It's kind of hard to see there, but what we're going to do is basically, I'm not going to be able to do it with one hand, but we're going to lift up on it as we push down on the cable, and it's going to come right out of that slot. And as you can see, the end piece there just pulls right out of the slot. This blue wire here is for the coil. That one goes right there, and the black wire goes on that tab there. So now that is disconnected, we can just pull that away from the machine here. Next we're gonna pull off the intake cover. We're gonna pull out the foam, and we have two nuts here. I believe they are 8mm. Okay, and you have a little gasket here. I don't think we have a new one, so I'm gonna pull this off carefully so I can reuse it. I got this gasket off as well as the smaller paper gasket. Now we're good to remove these fuel lines. Okay, I might need a flathead to just help this one off here. It's just a little bit stuck, and then we are good to remove the carburetor. Okay, and here's the carburetor. Keep in mind there will also be another gasket here, which we will have to remove as well. So this, there's a lot of crud in there. Wow. Yeah, we couldn't even see the bolt, but there's a torx bit there. There's a torx bit down there as well. So we'll take that off with the drill. Alright, and we got the intake plate, I guess you could call it. We got that off. And just look at how dirty that is. Man, this thing needs a good cleaning. I'll definitely clean it up before I put it all back together. Next, I think we want to take off the coil. So these are just a 27 torx bit and a 27. We'll pull that off. I can't really do that one-handed, but we'll pop that off and we'll pull these torx bits, and then we'll move on to the exhaust. This nut right here that's cast into this plastic, it looks like it actually blocks us from being able to pull the coil out. So our next step is going to be T27. Should be a T27 down there, and then a T27 there. We're going to undo that, and we're going to separate the engine from the trimmer. Okay, we got those 3 bolts off. Now it's time to separate the trimmer. There we go. And looks like our gas tank fell off. We're going to put that over here because I forgot to drain it, and it's dumping gas everywhere. And now that the trimmer assembly has been removed, we can just pick that up and just set it to the side, get that right out of the way. Now we are ready to remove the coil. Here's the centrifugal clutch assembly here. Looks like it has a bit of buildup on it, so before I put it back together, I'll probably just clean that up with some brake cleaner. Alright, we got the coil pulled off. You want to not lose these. These little spacers for the top and bottom of the studs help make sure the coil is in the right spot to hit the pickup here. So definitely don't lose those, and then it's also not a bad idea to just throw the bolt and the washer together and just put it back where it goes and set it to the side. That way you don't lose it and it's out of the way. Alright, next we're going to pull the exhaust. It's kind of hard to see in there. There we go. There's a couple torx bits there, and then there's also one more there. So let's hit those and get those out of there. Well, this is definitely not what we wanted to have happen here. I don't know if you can see that, but the torx bit rounded over. So I'm not giving up hope yet. I have right here, this is a T30 bit, and I don't have one that's long enough, so what my plan is, I'm going to put the T30 bit in here. Alright, and right there, I can feel it kind of wants to grab a little bit. And I'm going to tap on this with a hammer, and hopefully it reseats as a T30 instead of a T27. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, got one loose. When you tap that in, you can really feel when it's seated. It kind of makes a different noise as well if you're ever tapping something onto a bolt. It's a good way to not strip it though. I probably should have done that with the exhaust. What I'm doing now is just removing the cylinder head and the jug. It's one piece basically, and I'm leaving the exhaust on it because I can't get it off. So I'm gonna have to order a new exhaust online, but I'd rather do that than mess with this one. It's kind of rusty anyway, so I'll just grab a new one for it. And look at that, it's loose already. So all we have to do now is just pull up on it. Oh wow. There's a lot of carbon buildup in there. Well, it doesn't look too bad, but there is some scoring there on the piston skirt. The top of the piston is all carboned up, and we even have a chunk of carbon here that was just sitting on the piston. On the exhaust side here, yeah, that's pretty scored up. Not the best. Let's get this piston off and see what the needle bearing looks like. This is where I'm at currently. I just removed the piston completely. There's the needle bearing and the connecting rod pin. Everything in here looks pretty nice, so this is as torn down as we're gonna go right now. You don't have to remove anything else in order to do this job. So I think what I'm gonna do is, now I know that I need a new muffler, so I'm gonna get one of those ordered up. Probably wouldn't hurt to have a new spark plug as well. There's the old head gasket. We got a new one of those coming. Well, I mean, it really doesn't look too bad in there. But it definitely had low compression, so we're definitely doing the right thing here, getting this back and going again. Here's the part number on the cylinder here. But yeah, I think my plan now is I'm going to bring this inside so I don't get any rust on it, just in case while it's sitting. And get these parts ordered up, and we'll be back at it with the reassembly when the parts come in. So stay tuned for part 2. We'll be throwing it back together, and then we'll be testing it out.